This is a drill that I take all of my kettlebell newbies through to create total body tension. The reason that we want to train total body tension and your ability to engage and disengage it is really important for when we start to work with kettlebells, because a lot of the work with kettlebells that we do, or at least we do with me, is ballistic movement. So what's happening is if you're not braced and you're not creating that tension, that kettlebell is going to pull you around, which is oftentimes why we may hear that people view that they get hurt from kettlebells, because they're not able to properly keep tension and control of the bell rather than the bell controlling them and throwing them around. Now, whether or not you're going to work with kettlebells, learning how to create total body tension is going to completely change certain movements for you. Movements like a plank, push-ups, any plank variation, it's going to completely change it. So let's talk about it. How you do this is, let's start with standing. We're gonna stand with those feet just outside of hip width, toes pointing straight forward. And from here, what I want you to do is I want you to push your big toes into the ground and release them. Like you're just pushing a button. Push your big toes into the ground and release. Try and not curl your toes, but just push down with the foot flat and release. You'll notice as you continue to do this, that your feet almost kind of suction cup the ground. This way we're feeling really rooted into the earth. This is super important for movements like swings, snatches with the kettlebell. Now, go ahead and push your big toes into the ground and just hold, maintain that feeling. You should feel the weight pretty even between your big toe and your heels. Now from here, I want you to engage your thighs. You're gonna imagine like you could pick your thighs up away from your knees, and then squeeze your glutes, a very slight tuck of the pelvis, but otherwise remain very neutral in the pelvis, and then brace the abdominals. So what that looks like from the side is I want you to think just engage. We're not gonna squeeze and suck in. We're just gonna draw the belly button to the spine and close the ribs towards the pubic bone. So this space is closed and braced. So we're bracing 360 with that transverse abdominis, and then top to bottom with that rectus abdominis. Glutes, thighs are still engaged. Feel everything on this lower quarter completely braced. Now from here, let's think about the upper body. As you maintain that, make fists with your hands and just roll your shoulders up, back, and now punch down hard and hold that. You should feel a nice big squeeze underneath your armpits. Like think like you've got newspapers under your arms and it's a windy day and you do not want to lose your newspapers. Keep that squeeze, lift the chest, and keep your eyes just above the horizon. From here, squeeze all of those things. So check in big toes, thighs, glutes, abdominals, arms, lats, eyes. Shoulders are still relaxed down, no tension in the neck, but proud stance here. This should feel really challenging here. If it doesn't, create more tension. Squeeze as much as you can. Hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Shake that out. Good. Now let's take that into a position like a plank. So for our plank, I like to mimic the positioning of the top of the kettlebell swing. So we're gonna have those hands not crazy narrow right now, but really truly under shoulder width, not too wide. And our feet just outside of shoulder. So if you're used to going plank a little bit more narrow, just go ahead and go a little wider for me. Now let's head into that position, hands shoulder width apart, feet about wider than hips, just outside of hips. And now from here, hold. Let's find all those checkpoints. Dig your big toe into the ground, push your heels back, engage your thighs, squeeze your glutes, feel the abs pull in, feel the ribs pull in, drop the shoulders down the back, proud chest, look forward, eyes above the horizon. Now from here, create that tension. We're gonna take a few deep breaths. Inhale through the nose, exhale hard like you're blowing out through a straw. We're gonna do that 2 more times. Inhale, exhale, blow out through a straw. You should feel your abs fire up as you exhale. 1 more time. Inhale, exhale, feel that squeeze, and lower that down. Whew. I don't know about you, but that plank felt hard, right? Now, granted, for some people, planks are hard, but if your planks have been feeling really easy, you're most likely doing a more passive plank, and I want you to now maybe start to focus on an active plank. Now, how that whole total body tension translates into kettlebell work, I'll show you. So if we're going to do something like a kettlebell swing, for instance, you have that kettlebell, you have your tripod stance. We're going to root into the ground, and the top of that swing position is going to be that same feeling. Lats pulled down, everything nice and locked in, rooted down into the ground. So what that looks like Now, what happens if I don't root? Let me get all noodly, loosey-goosey, and try and do this movement. Let's try one more noodly time. Right? All sorts of weird things can happen that are most likely going to lead to injury if you're doing that with a bell heavier than what I'm using. So I don't recommend that. I recommend squeezing and finding that total body tension. So whether or not you're trying kettlebells or you're just learning better ways to exercise and move, try a plank with total body tension. If that feels really good, translate that into a push-up, feeling those same things. Just widen your stance with your arms and do the same thing with a push-up. Try that out and let me know how it goes.